Commissioners Court, meeting in regular session, Monday, April 13th, 2015. It is 9:34 a.m. If it's convenient, stand for invocation and our wages. Our Father in heaven, we thank you for this day and the many blessings you bring to us. We're grateful for the moisture that you've seen fit to bring our way. We do ask you for more. We ask that you bring enough to run our rivers and our streams and make them flow, fill our reservoirs and our tanks. We're grateful for this country, for this nation, for this state, for this county. We ask your blessings upon this meeting, and the things that we do are in accordance to thy will, and that we represent those who have put us in these positions in a respectable and admirable way. We ask your blessings upon those who have lost loved ones recently, that your wing of comfort cover them. We ask that you forgive us for the shortcomings that we have, as we know that you will. In Christ's name we pray, amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honoring the Texas flag, I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
Thank you, please be seated. Item number 3, public comments, presentations, announcements. These are no action items. As you have in your packet, a letter from the Texas Veterans Commission. This is kind of an annual event. They're requesting that we appropriate funds and have our VSO within their education event and their conference, as he has in the past, and he maintained his certification in circumstances. The next thing on there is Major Eric Brown, an introduction to jail status update. Mr. Jim Ludorf.
Good morning. I'd like to introduce to you guys Major Eric Brown. He's over here from Stevens County, so he's jail administrator, and he has a brief jail update, and as well as some concerns he has with our medical program.
Come right up here where we hear you.
Okay. First of all, I'd like to thank the court for giving us this time this morning. I appreciate it. I know that y'all are very busy. Some of the things that we've done with the jail so far, we've tried to make sure that we've got as many repairs done as possible. We've replaced several speakers throughout the jail to where it was a safer, trying to make it a safer, more responsible working area for everybody involved. We have completely redone 3 of the 5 tank areas. That being the male population, we've went in and completely redone every tank that houses the inmates. There were several things that needed to be done due to the destruction and wear and tear from the inmates. So we started on that. We've made sure that, like I said, we're trying to get it to where we're making it a more responsible and thorough work area. Some of the things that we wanted to bring to the court and just kind of talk about was on our medical side. I understand that we do go through the hospital now, and we have somebody that comes and sees our inmates at the jail. One of the things that we would like to look at in the future is possibly from a third-party medical company. The idea that we've started to do this is mainly just to save money. Our budgets for the last 3 years have been over $100,000, and we've exceeded those budgets every one of those years. We've identified this company that we can probably go with and that can save us anywhere from $30,000 to $50,000 per year, while still using Graham Regional Hospital and the emergency room there at the hospital. They have several good things about it. We could have a medical personnel in that jail every day, Monday through Friday, instead of having one medical personnel in there every 2 weeks, we would have them in there every single day. Another one of the big parts of this is we all, as jailers, don't have a medical license. The liability with some of the stuff that we're doing now with medications and with the handling of medical can get us into some serious legal issues. With this company, they would jump and they would take care of all the legal issues without any payment from us. They would make sure that they would make the medical personnel there at the hospital or at the jail very thorough. They're going to work with the jail personnel. They're going to take care of the meds. They're going to take care of the appointments. We can still use the hospital. And like I said, they also have a pool for emergencies. And in the past, I know that this has been one of the huge expenditures that we have. If we have an emergency at that jail, they can handle that and take care of that and cut our costs extremely. I mean, at least in half. They take that $20,000 pool that you don't pay for. Let's say that their contract is $67,000 a year. They also give you a $20,000 pool. Out of that $20,000 pool, if you don't spend any of that money comes directly back to the Commissioner's Court. So in essence, you could get a year's worth of medical for $47,000. And like I said, we still use the hospital. We still use the emergency repair grant. The only thing that we're trying to do is make sure that we help the people of Young County with the costs and do our part. Does anybody have any questions?
Mr. Frank, welcome aboard, sir.
Thank you very much.
That $30,000 in savings,
Yes, sir.
how are they able to?
Right.
Yes, sir.
It's not an action item, it's only a discussion, so we'd like, if we're gonna itemize this,
Let's put it on the agenda.
let's next day, then we can discuss that.
Okay. Since we talked our contract, let's put it in a position where we can ask questions then.
And it's getting time for the budget. And I think also it would be good if I mean, you can say, we can say $30,000, just put it in this kind of, something that we can actually
We
see.
don't think they talk about that, it's not.
I know it's not, but I can tell them what we want when we do get it on that.
And I would like to invite everybody from the Commissioner's Court to the jail at any time. We'd love to give you a tour and show you some of the structure changes we made with the employees as well. Like I said, we just want to make sure that we do our part to help the county in every single way.
Brian, you say you come from Stevens County?
Yes, sir.
You presently reside in Stevens County?
Yes, sir.
What was your title?
Jail administrator.
You was jail administrator for Stevens County.
Yes, sir.
How long have you been there?
5 years.
Are you a native of Stevens County?
Yes, sir.
Welcome over.
Thank you very much.
Appreciate you looking at those issues when you first come in.
Thank you. My pleasure.
I've heard good things.
We'll make this an item, we'll have a more discussion about it.
Thank you very much. I appreciate your time.
Jim, before you go, could we discuss, we'll put that on the agenda, the MRAP policies and procedures, when we do that?
I'm sorry,
Could we discuss those policies and procedures that we've been waiting on?
what would you like to discuss?
I'd like to see a copy of what you've got, discuss it here at the court.
What do you want to discuss here?
That was the entire discussion that we had. That was discussed among the commissioners.
Okay, I thought the last discussion you and I had was, you went by the office and.
If I wanted them, I could come get them.
No, since we were going to talk about it, I was going to discuss it.
No, we'll talk about that publicly. Okay.
Okay, is that-
So we got a public policy that's known for the folks on that particular piece of machinery.
Is that the desired report?
We'll, Mr. Sampson, that's to be put on, we'll have that on as an item also.
Here we are.
Very good.
Thank you.
Okay, item number 4, does anybody else have an announcement to make or presentation? Anything they'd like to bring to the kitchen?
I just appreciate all the prayers for the time lost.
Sergeant Kirk. Appreciate that.
We're very sorry. Good gentleman. Big loss. We're talking about Mr. Wiley's father-in-law, Don Pearson. Item number 4, consider county clerk's minutes from previous meeting, March 23rd, 2014. Are there any additions, corrections, or deletions?
I have one question, I think it's just a typo, it goes from item 9 and 11 and item 27. That's just a typo. Should be 9, 10, and 11. Let's go back and look. Okay.
With that, I see that. So much.
Number correction. Do we have a motion from Commissioner Wiley, second from Commissioner Rogers, to approve those minutes as corrected and numbering scheme? All in favor? Carried. 5-0. Item number 5, update on security pledges.
$2,634.10. This is point one. Point one anyway.
Take that as a motion to approve.
Yes, sir.
Second, Commissioner Pruitt. All in favor? Item number 6, county treasurer finance report. Do we have any finances?
Yeah, I don't know what happened to.
Kathy's got them.
Those are February and March, and they're all reconciled. Our current cash position in the general is $1,699,658.99. This is, one's February and one's March. Anyways, no big surprises.
You tell us plenty well off?
We're good right now.
Okay.
What percentage are we at in our collection? What percentage are we at in our collection?
Obligation?
Apples right here. Right at 95% overall. For the current tax, we've collected $5,313,000. And that's just in the, total collection so far is $6,170,574. That's, as the end of, March. And our, sales tax is down a little bit. I think it was 73,000 we received the other day. This time last year, I think it was 90 something.
Probably around 20,000. Okay, thank you.
Have a motion to,
So much.
approve that report as presented. Motion by Commissioner Wiley, second by Commissioner Pruitt to approve the treasurer's report as presented. All in favor? Vote. Consider auditor's budget amendments, and we'll include that in that payment vouchers also.
Okay, well, on budget amendments, I have a few out of the elections. Budget amendment, Lauren came and talked to me last week. There were a few negatives here and there. The total of all of them is $2,816, and she wants to take it out of the voting machine line and fix all of those negatives in here. Do you have anything, Lauren, that?
I'm not sure how much this Judge Bullock has made y'all aware of. Hart has pretty much assured me we will not get the new machines this year, so, it's stuck in certification and there's really nothing I can do about it. So we're gonna take a little bit of that money, since we're not gonna spend it on that this year, and take care of some supply costs that we're over and above what I expected.
How is our deal with Ector County?
It's still solid.
Yeah,
It's still solid?
we're okay. We're very much in communication with them on making sure they're aware of what's going on.
Is there someone that Hart should have a sound on that deal?
Well, I've got that request, and we'll have a meeting, they have responded back with, we're putting all this to consideration, I've asked them what I've asked them to do is furnish voting equipment or guarantee us voting equipment for our primary elections and our May elections and our runoff elections.
I'd really like to get stuff out of our possession.
Right, and that's
Those
the,
people that
that's
can't.
definitely the plan.
We've got their attention, and I
Yeah,
expect
we
them to be
really,
up here in the not too distant future to give us an update and explanation.
I think that'd be the least they could do, considering what they told you.
totally agree. We are in
We want to
communication with
follow.
them at the moment and trying to get all this sorted out, so.
I'm sure Lauren's been in touch with EA in Ector County.
I copied her on the email that you and I sent the card.
I've also communicated with Judge Rick.
Right. They are aware of the situation and
As it appears right now, they understand, they feel solid.
They bought those machines from us because they felt like they had a need for them.
Right.
Yeah.
So we need to get there for them.
Yeah.
and at the very latest, Hart will have a representative here to just kind of do a customer service check-in with me during the May early voting dates. And so I've already told him I'll bring him up and a short discussion. Person to person.
Hart should know that was the only reason that we bought the voting machines, because of the Ector.
And
Like that with her.
yeah, we made that very clear and we hope that
I kind of got their attention.
I saw your work, I appreciate you. CC and stuff. Demo. Also, you say that machine is already in operation in Virginia?
there's two different types of machines. There's a paper-based system and the fully electronic. West Virginia has the paper-based system. That is, last I saw a week or so ago, been delivered and they are doing their acceptance testing. But that's a whole different system that had to be certified
So that has
separately.
nothing to do with that.
Has nothing to do with ours. However, Hart has assured me that the minute that the certification goes through, they will already have our machines produced and ready to go.
I look forward to Hart coming and telling us what their situation is.
I really do too. So.
Thanks a lot.
Okay, that budget then, for total. $2,408.
218.
2816. Those are going to be moved from elections machine and from voting machines to election expense and from voting machines to voting machines to part-time and voting machines to business travel. So, who did that have in the May election?
I've got the Graham Hospital District, the City of Graham, Graham ISD, and City Hall. So we've got 4 elections starting on the 27th. So early voting's the 27th, and election day is May the 9th.
Another piece of information that makes us more pertinent about this Hart thing. You contacted them about what it cost us to lease or rent machines for
I
the
did.
election?
I did.
What was the number?
It would be $26,000 to rent the minimum number of machines necessary for the November constitutional election.
That's just an additional price for voting machines.
Well,
And that was a 30-day-ish lease, and they would take them right back.
the understanding was that we weren't going to give up the machines that we have until after that constitutional and election
Right.
was worrying us right now is
It's
the
the
primaries.
primaries,
Yeah,
because
of course, we were told certification would be 2015, March of 2015, but
That's what we get for putting the cart before the horse.
So
I don't know about that.
I do.
They shouldn't make promises they couldn't keep up.
they couldn't actually guarantee that the machines would be out so we could have them for constitutional elections. So therefore, we couldn't make that commitment to Hector County to deliver those before that. But we did kind of make that commitment that we'd have them there for the primary, as Hart had,
previously,
they had made that commitment to us that they would have those, that new machine here and be trained on it, set up, ready to go for the primary elections. And that's the basis of the letter that I sent to them. The request was that they furnish us equipment for the primary election and the May, and the runoff election and
they're
the
gonna
May
have to get us,
constitutional election.
they're gonna have to get us into next summer just because of train-up times and acceptance testing and that sort of thing. There's no way I can turn around in 3 weeks and have all that ready, so they will have to get us at least through the runoff.
You wanna do both of them together?
Motion? Oh, yeah, go ahead. So,
I know y'all don't like surprises, sometimes they happen. The run for today, I guess you saw.
all in favor?
Oh, I'm sorry.
Everybody? Okay.
The voucher run is $511,577.80, and of that, $444,855.53 is out of the general. Friday afternoon, we were brought an envelope with a lot of the capital murder bills in there, and we chose to go ahead and key them in and let's see what we got. We're still getting more, we're still gonna have more. It was several $100,000, which I don't know, I haven't added these in. When I had added them together since the arrest in April 11, it was 700 and something thousand.
Now, with this run, it'll be over.
Yeah, the over million. Yes. And like I said, I still know of several bills that have not been paid, so. This, I think this covered the larger bills for the defense. Tarrant County is still doing some billing. We still have several different things I know are gonna come in.
There are a few reimbursements from the state.
We did get, the AG's office on the witness claims. She filled those out, had them sign them, hand delivered them, and we've already received, and I don't remember how much that was. I'd have to pull it and see how much we got on that. It wasn't very much, but it'll help a little bit. As far as the defense, their witnesses, he sent the claims forms in. He sent copies instead of the original signatures. The AG's office sent them back to me, so I had to get a hold of this gentleman that turned them in and said we need to do something different. I don't know what he did with the original stuff. Anyway, the AG's office called and sent them back.
What's total number of vouchers, did you say?
Of everything,
Well, what did you spoke there a while ago?
511,577.
that's the total.
577.
And now the general is 444,855.
Okay, on the, pay those right away, those that we got from.
They're keyed in to pay, in our general, like I said, in our general this morning, there's 1,712,218, so that 444,855 will be coming out of there as soon as those checks are in this morning.
And we're still looking into whether or not we need to do some amending or maybe even some emergency amending.
Yes, we're gonna discuss that, and we've gotta do some checking on what we need to do. There is money to cover it today, but that's mainly because we moved 500,000 startup money during the beginning of the year out of money for it. So that money's still in there. So we'll need to look at this and see what we need to do.
We're a little over halfway through the fiscal year too.
And that being said, I have not given you yet, but you noticed on the cash position. I've been kind of in and out the past week, but I'm here, so I'll get that this week in your check. That's all I have to say about that.
So,
Want to approve those vouchers, please?
tentatively.
Here we do.
What's your choice?
You know, if there's any good in this deal, it's been broke up over a period of time. I think for it all hit us at one time. You know, but that'd be hard to swallow.
Let's look at the price.
So there's always a bright side to it.
A motion by Commissioner Wiley, second by Commissioner Sykes to approve the vouchers payable as presented. All in favor?
Aye.
Vote.
I also have another invoice from Metroplex Control Systems. We had some major damage done to our padded cell. I have pictures. Yeah, we know. That's before and here's after it's fixed. They had to actually come in, I think, is this right, Jim? They came in and had to cut that section out where it had been,
Yes, ma'am.
and so.
Did they replace that full wall? Or just?
It was almost half of it, Judge, that they did replace, yes.
How long did it take them to do that?
Fix it or the
Oh,
damage?
sure, no damage.
Oh, damn.
How long did it take to damage?
Oh, I have no, sir, I don't know.
Is there any cameras in there?
Yes, sir, there is.
How often do y'all look in there whenever you get somebody in the padded cell?
Should be a 15-minute check, which we do now, every 15 minutes.
I'm just saying this didn't happen in 15 minutes.
No, sir, it did not.
This damage was done prior to you.
Yes, sir.
What I'm proposing to take this out of jail development, which we have 9,000 plus in there.
Some change.
This bill is $5,775.
I think that's some loud inside.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. 775.
75 cents.
Oh, here you It's 775.
Yeah.
How much is it, Sean? What's the total?
That's all it was,
$5,775.
That was done by Mr. Armendariz. We have got a emergency restraint chair now to where if we put anyone in that padded cell, they will be in that chair as well. And we will have it documented to where this will not happen again.
We had one
No,
before.
we've had it for a
I
while.
had one for a while.
We've been without a restraint chair, I think they said for almost 2 years.
And you know that has to come out of the budget. We cannot take it out of the commissary
Who tore it up?
for them.
It wasn't tore up, they just didn't use it in the morning.
We haven't seen a bill on it yet.
Check policy and procedures.
I'll check with Joyce.
How much was it?
I believe it's $1,600.
Seven quick.
I'll move that motion to the court to pay that, repair cost out of jail development.
I'll say.
And we have a motion from myself, second by Mr. Wiley, that we pay $5,775 invoice for our padded cell repair, and for that expense to come out of the jail development fund. All in favor?
So that leaves a little less than 3,000 in the general fund. A little 3,000.
We should get some more money for the phones. It adds up pretty quick. As long as they let them talk on the phone.
That's not much development, that's more redevelopment.
And
Thank you for putting that back in use.
Church didn't set there.
item number 9, consider employee bonds. One bond on Carolyn Sue Honeywell, deputy tax assessor collector for $5,000.
So,
Motion by Commissioner Pruitt, second by Commissioner Rogers to approve that bond. Any, all in favor? Carried. Item number 10, consider extension agents Brad Larson and Penny Warren Barron. Report and request for reimbursement, $750 and $639.94 respectively.
So moved. Second.
Have a motion by Commissioner Sykes, second by Commissioner Wiley to approve that request as presented. All in favor? Those. Item number 11 is consider issuing 30-day notice of intent to terminate contracts. This is going to be a subject for JP number 1, Judge Rob Dial. Please come on up here and explain that just a little bit.
Okay.
Joanne may know more about it than you do.
She does on the collection side of it, that's why she's here.
That was nice.
Yeah, we appreciate y'all.
But we love you.
Well,
I know where I go.
she's been doing this a little longer than I have, so, what I want to speak on is the first part, the I-ticket with DPS. We've been having quite a bit of problems in 2 areas. First of all, somewhere between DPS, NetData, and us, the coding system is not the same. We'll get something on a particular vehicle that comes from DPS, and when it goes through NetData and comes to us, it's a different vehicle. And so, so far there haven't been any way that they've corrected that. The other thing is, and I think it's more important, is the fact that the time span between the time that what DPS does is they sync their computers, and I think now they're supposed to sync them daily. And it goes to Austin, and Austin sends it to I-ticket, and then I-ticket sends it to the courts. But the problem is there's some kind of gap between there that whatever the time frame is that we allow the defendant to appear in court, they come in with tickets that are not in the court system, and therefore we can't act on it without the proper citation. And so what we want to do is get off of I-ticket, and that way when the troopers bring the tickets in to us, then we can immediately put them in the system so that it will help speed up the collections, but also it will be a courtesy to the citizens, because when they come in, they can expect to pay or however they want to dispose of it. We can't do anything until we get the ticket in there. And then the second part is our collections. And I'm going to let Joanne speak on that because, like you said, she has a lot more experience than I do on this part.
I have, this is just a synopsis of the total collections that we have made throughout the years, comparing them to what JP's group collects. Now be aware that this is total amounts collected. It is not just the court cost. This is our total fines that we have collected. We were doing pretty well prior to the time that we went on GHS. Since that time, we have not collected as much as they have. We have the same number of troopers and officers filing cases. So that tells us right there that there's an issue there. Another problem we're having lately is that when we have defendants that want to go online and pay their fines and court costs by a credit card, they're unable to link up to our credit card site. I have brought this to the attention of GHS numerous times, and they tell us, oh, well, they'll have to go in and make changes to their computers. The defendants don't want to do that. They want to go to click in, pay it, and more than that. So we're having issues there. it seems to me that every time I bring it up to GHS, we get excuses. So, I think the numbers right there will tell us that there's a problem and we're going to consider changing, getting off of GHS and possibly going back to Purdue.
I always thought we should have never changed it. Don't we?
Well, and they make a point to us too, whenever you, get some type of notification and it's got an attorney's office up there as compared to a private industry, you're gonna act on it, or you should act on it, in a more, rapid way than you would if it was just a private company out there.
No law, pretty much.
Yeah, they, in fact, in their process, we can have consulting, we can consult with them. And it's not that easy to consult with GHS.
Well, GHS doesn't have the current staff.
Right.
Purdue has told us that they will give us legal advice as far as the collection issues as part of the contract. It's free. I have already asked them certain legal items that I would like to see in the contract. And Tony Canelli out of Wichita Falls has given me advice on how to work that. So I don't know if we need to give you a copy of your contract at this time, or if we need to put it on another agenda.
How long is the contract?
It's 1 year.
When does it come in?
When you're going to sign it, it's going to be one.
Coming Purdue?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
When does the
The GHS contract was originally for 3 years. We passed that time. At this time, all we have to do is give them a 30-day notice. They also have control of cases that have been turned over to them for 6 months after that time. Now, it's up to them if they want to release them earlier.
I had a long discussion with Conley about the same situation. I think they can provide us a better service.
Well, and
Absolutely.
they will make the contract for the items that we want. It's not a, cover everybody, no matter who you are. Whatever
A la carte
specifics
kind of
we
thing.
want, whatever specifics we want, they will make the contract with those.
Cost-wise, it won't cost us anything other than the 30% that they add on. That was the same amount that we gave GHS. It's statewide.
And that's another thing.
Graduated amount, kind of
Is
graduated.
it graduation?
And that's another thing too with GHS. Once the warrant fee is involved, if you say the person lays a fine out in jail, they still want their 30%. With Purdue, if we don't collect money, they don't collect money.
How many transactions is this? I mean, are they relatively basically the same?
They're basically the
Do
same.
our fines tend to be less or more here in JP1 than in JP3?
No, our fines are the same. We've tried to keep those the same so that.
How about the numbers? People being.
Collections,
Number of people, number of tickets written.
Total limit, I do not run that. Or, I do know that I ran one report.
Well, it used to
I'm
be.
trying to find out why the disparity in the numbers is the size.
different kinds of cases.
When there were 3 criminals here,
Exactly.
and only, back in the day, there was more citations.
You do a
This
transaction
part.
average, you have to
But
tell.
now that they just got 4,
See,
all the way
like a
around,
restaurant.
yeah, they file as many up in
There.
Judge Baylor's as they do here.
I figured it doesn't hit this big on.
Well, it'd be a number of hours of traffic thing on those kind of tickets.
You have more DWIs in your court than JP3?
No, well, there's gonna be, because there's 3 trippers here and there's 1 up there. And DWIs, unless they're felonies, they wouldn't be going to JP anyway, they would be coming to county court.
If you so choose to, can you request those old unpaid tickets that they have with it? Or it's gotta be there for 6 months?
No, GHS has control over the cases that they were handling at the time of the end of the contract. Except at the end, if they.
If they want to give it back, or you can request it or whatever.
I don't know, I don't know.
It was the same when we did it before. Right.
The only thing I'm thinking of is if you got some there that they can't take care of, it's old cases, that's gonna be something I want to request back. You know?
Well, they'll fall back after the 6 months.
Yeah.
Right.
So we didn't wait 30 days to put it on the.
No, if we put in our 30-day notice now, that would accelerate
And
the
then
system.
Purdue will just pick up right
Right, they'll pick up right now, but cases that GHS has at this time.
now. Got to put it on the next.
And I would think that GHS, I don't know for sure, they would want to keep those for 6 months and try to collect on them, and they'll probably work harder at it, knowing that they're not gonna have them any longer than 6 months.
Try to get some money out of them.
I would think it'd be less, I would think it'd be less work.
You don't think
I
so?
would bet on that.
That's why I say I'd like to see if you can request them back, so.
They said they're doing their follow through.
Yeah.
Well, honestly, when we first switched to GHS, they were hitting it hot and heavy, and they collected a lot of money on those back ones. And then as it fell off and there wasn't as many cases, then they weren't collecting.
I don't know if it's the fact that they've gotten more counties on their customer list or what it is, but they have not,
I'll do a bit, right?
not as much as they used to, no, sir.
Give us some reasons not to change.
Everybody has the information.
Well, I want to tell you, the ladies get, I don't know how many phone calls every day from people like Joanne was saying that want to pay their fines with a credit card and they can't do it because they got to change some kind of, what is it,
It's a compatibility issue.
compatibility, they got to go in there and change that in order to pay it, and most people don't know how to do that type of stuff.
We never had that issue when we were with Purdue. Of course, I realized that we would be going back to Hammer Enterprises for our credit card stuff. Never had a problem with them, and honestly, before I lived here in 2007, we were with Purdue, never had a problem with them. Came back and we were having issues, but I don't know what the deal is, they just don't.
For everybody's information out there, Net Data and GHS
Yes, sir.
are different companies with the same principles.
Yes, sir.
So
Yes, sir.
it's just kind of spin-off, I guess you could say.
I don't have a problem with that. There are some things that GHS is doing for us right now, filing the omnibus cases, filing the NRBCs. We would like to take them back because there have been times that a defendant pays their fine and never gets cleared with DPS.
You're talking about off the side.
Now, this is actually on the GHS contract. We want to do those in-house so we know that these cases will be cleared on their side. It's not really going to save the county money, it's just a service that I see for the customer.
That's one of the biggest problems I've got with the other business owners.
Well, you don't want to pay a fine, and then 2 or 3 days later, because it hadn't cleared, you get arrested again for it. You don't want that.
Right,
After you pay the ticket, that's not fun.
Right.
right. You know,
We did this about 2.5, 3 years ago with Precinct 3. Precinct 3 moved back
right.
to Purdue Brandon, and I think it's been a good thing.
I talked to Judge Mayer, he is very pleased with it. And if you'll look on there, I think he's probably exceeded his collections over what ours are. So,
So you're asking us today to approve going back to Purdue?
yes.
Because our contract, we're gonna raise them.
Well, she gotta give a 30-day notice.
I got this motion, send notice of intent.
Yes.
So do we need to put on the agenda for the contract?
Yes.
Yeah, different company, we'll put that on next agenda.
Okay.
Consider a contract with Brandon, Purdue Brandon.
On the next agenda?
I'll make that motion that we give notice of intent.
Oh, yes, on night. Y'all second it.
Okay. Second.
That's a 30-day notice.
Just for my information, y'all will send that notice of intent, or our office?
I have to.
Okay.
So that 30 days will be in today?
I'll get it out today.
Okay.
Probably today that it gets posted on count day. All in favor? Okay, well,
Thank you.
make effort to get that notice out.
All right, thank you.
Okay. Item number 12 will be ratify police purchase agreement number 2125C for general transport vehicle. Say anything about that?
Yeah. Any questions?
It is case to be used for transport.
Absolutely, yes.
It's a Dodge Charger.
It's 2014 Dodge Charger. Has a cage.
I didn't know they came in 4 door.
Why Dodge Charger?
Not a Challenger, a Charger. They're four-door, those are police vehicles.
That's no sports car, isn't it?
No, sir, it's the same thing that PD's using.
The two-door ones are first.
And the DPS.
We wanted something that got good gas mileage.
Excuse me?
We wanted something that got good gas mileage, but a vehicle that we could put a cage in, because our last vehicle we had, the Equinox, didn't have a cage. We can't find one for it, so for officer safety, we wanted a cage for the long run.
Well, I just didn't realize they came in 4 doors. I thought they were.
They've been making them 4 doors since they came out.
That was a fist of the on span.
So now they have this, and they have the Impala fixed. It wasn't much damage, was it? It's
Or
fixed.
the Crown Vic.
Pretty big, yeah. And it's back.
Anybody have any questions?
What was that? Did you trade something in on
Total vehicle,
total vehicle? What y'all get total?
the Equinox.
Yeah, what y'all get
Do
total?
you remember, Mark? We've got it in there.
I
See
can
the
check
check.
really quick.
6,000?
63 something.
Just replacing the
The
regular.
Equinox, that was the total.
Yeah.
So there's insurance collection on
Yes.
that.
And we also had in the budget, 4,000 to pay down on the contract, so. And we paid 6. So yearly payments, I believe, were under $4,000.
Have a motion to ratify.
So moved.
Have a motion by Commissioner Pruitt, second by Commissioner Wiley, to ratify agreement, lease purchase agreement. And that's going to be with, what's that outfit's name?
American National Leasing.
American National Leasing. American National Leasing.
So we got 6,000 on total. And then we got 4,000 we had in our budget.
Right.
So that's $10,000, we just put 6,000 down.
But I thought we put 10.
No, on the contract, it says 6. Yeah, I wrote the check for 6 the other day.
Where's the other four?
Still
You know, that
ain't
payment's
right.
probably due before the end of the budget cycle, to be honest with you. I'd see it again, but we were gonna use that $4,000.
Yeah, it's due in next year.
We should have used it.
No, it ain't due to.
So made down payment of $6,000.
Yeah, 11/15, so it's due.
So we use a little bit over what was in
That's
the
gonna be
budget.
in next year's budget cycle. That's next year's budget cycle. I would say we can't figure out how we can take it up 4,000 and add to that, and knock it down.
Like payments down.
Knock it down. Yes.
We thought we did. Okay.
That was the intent.
Go back it up again,
So it's not.
verify that, or you want to let them do it?
Well, we've already signed, he signed the contract, they'll just have to redo the contract and put the other.
Well, we're ratifying the contract, and that will go on.
But I'm talking about, make sure they put the full on it.
So we're gonna change that contract, aren't we?
Yeah, we're gonna change this contract, we ain't gonna ratify this one.
So we don't want to ratify this one?
No.
We'll withdraw that.
I want to
Yes.
call my, you know, I think it was we're gonna add another $4,000 with down payment, reduce our payment to this contract.
Yes.
Withdraw my table to the next meeting.
Very good. Motion's withdrawn. Likewise, the second, we'll table that issue for the 27th. Good catch, Jim.
Yeah, when Kirk got those numbers, they just didn't add it.
Item number 13, this is a contract that was brought down from the district attorney's office. It's kind of puzzling me a little bit because indicating and made it appear that his contract didn't have to come through the county, but called for approval by the county judge, and I didn't think I approved anything much without consent of the board. Did a good bit of reading and looking, I still couldn't still wasn't very clear, so I put it on here. So thing. Consent from the court to my signature to approve that. It's with the Health and Human Services Commission. It's for prosecution of fraud in regard to the food stamp program and the families who receiving aid, those kinds of things. And it's just reimbursement. I think in there they're going to reimburse some of the cost of those proceedings. But I guess they have to have a contract to do that. They state that as Government Code 41-1004 and 531-039. Didn't really tell me whether they move around the court or not, so I'll ask for
We did get quite a bit of money to reimburse us a while back.
authorization to approve that contract. It's just quite a bit.
Oh, we were getting 1,000 here, 1,000 there, I mean, better than just taking the money.
Was that on some old stuff?
Yeah, they went through all of the old cases and went back to file. I think there's a lot.
Some old stuff.
It's got, there's some specifics in there. Looks like about $600-700 in prosecution, is that right?
Seemed like it was about that.
Just that highlight there.
$678,
Yeah.
top of page 2. Last item, number 6, 1.6.
Yeah, $678 there, $280.
280.
And that's on each prosecution, it looks like. I don't know how many prosecutions there are.
950.
It's not a lot of money. In 2011, we got 840. Well, we got 560. It adds up.
Okay, okay, we can get. Some log in there.
You think the county judge ought to authorize that?
You bet.
I would
say that.
Make a
motion, let him do that.
basically what that was in was for one case.
We got to put it on the motion.
No, it was several. We didn't get, I don't think we got to all of it, some of it once in a while.
Because it's about $900.
Okay, all in favor of the county judge to approve that contract? Vote. Okay,
I have a motion to adjourn and recess, sir.
yes.
Thank you.
Okay.
That was my fault. It was the Crown Vic I was thinking about when she said that, 'cause I just finished
Back in
it.
session. Even without her. Yeah, he might have been late.
Let's not be upset.
Okay, we're gonna move back up to the auditor's request, item number 12, that's the information, police purchase agreement.
We received 12,425 for the Equinox that was totaled in January. So with that and the 4,000 in the budget, we could put 16,000 down on the new Charger and pay that down and get our payments down each month, I guess, is how we wanna do it.
What's it does, it's $6,000 on it.
What did,
Right?
What's that?
That's 10,901 show.
Yeah.
Yes.
You can just pay that stuff off.
what was the sales?
23.
22.
Yeah.
Please pay it off.
They got
Well,
$6,000.
because they're
financing the modification as well.
Yes,
Too.
yeah, the cage and anything else
That's
on
right.
there too. So is that what, I mean, we wanna pay the 16,000 down and lower the yearly payments, or maybe?
Can we reduce it every year?
That's what I'm thinking, because I think if I look right, there's 5 years on there.
There
We can get it down to.
Let's move it to 36.
Or
What'd you say?
that cage is 2,400, is that what that cage
Right.
come out to be? We could go ahead instead of financing the cage and paying the interest on the cage, taking and abolish that deal right there and pay it, split it off. And just do the vehicle itself, put the rest of it, we
Pay for that roll cage down to what?
I'm just right here.
Down to 16?
Yes.
Well, probably,
14
no.
then?
I would imagine the way that works is if it went through the leasing company's probably already paid that company
Okay.
money.
Alright.
Because that's what they do, is they get the bills on it, they pay the bills, the leasing company does, and
It don't make any difference, we'll just do it this way.
Okay.
That's gonna make it a lot less than we have.
Is there a way we can put it 36 and 24 months? What do you think?
can.
Yeah. We're gonna ratify the contract, we can pick the one we want to ratify. Absolutely.
36
What
and
will be the intent, at the end of the lease purchase?
What does it
Turn it
show?
back in,
in-
right now, $1, to turn it back in and do it over again, or?
Well,
Oh, yeah, you want to.
so see what the yearly
Well, we can
payments,
keep it longer, yeah.
see what the yearly payments on 36
See, the
months.
bad thing about this one,
months
It's
are.
gonna be high, whatever it's worth,
Like
because
they're
they're
traveling,
traveling,
and I don't just road not necessary to have.
but I'm saying you probably more for it, you did turn it in earlier than what you could have turned it in.
They don't get ready with it much.
Yeah, do what?
They don't
budget
get
for
ready
whatever that.
Trade with another, I don't agree with that shit. I'm with you, yeah, that's not good.
We're talking about the 20, I think the 24 months, I'm with Commissioner Rogers, I think that's gonna put that payment at more than we wanna budget for next year.
36.
Just do 36, okay. We'll get a new contract in here.
It's only $6,000. Yeah, so it's gonna come back up to close to 4.
Yeah.
We still got the motion to table there,
Yeah, that's good.
or one
Okay.
motion. The information was just what kind of no action taken on it. Kind of out of the brain before us.
I would do this.
We want to see that stuff before
Let us help them with the contract.
they, yes.
I had texted Billy and I'd asked him about 10,000, he said, didn't know that, yeah, that would make the payments cheaper. But I'm gonna tell him now
Mathematically.
16,000.
Thanks, Billy.
Thanks, Billy. Thanks.
Got the data,
Didn't they get it done?
36 months.
He does. Okay, so now we're looking at the 16,000,
And a 36-month term.
okay,
It's gonna be on next meeting agenda. Hopefully we'll have a contract with those specifics.
What's proposed delivery date?
they have it here.
They've got, it, so they need a contract.
Well, I've already paid him 6,000 the other day off of this contract, so
And it is insured.
it is insured.
Is that the cart before the horse?
We've got it around here.
Yeah.
We still have the authority to read.
Didn't we start over with?
Yes.
Yeah.
I go to the front of the merry-go-round.
Okay, no further discussion or anything on that now. With pleasure of the court at 10, let's move down to court bill now, fees, deposits, rules, and regulations. We have Jim Hammond here, our,
I'm just here for what?
he's observed, we gotta get all of that. Have you reviewed those fees, things? Do you have any,
One of my issues is when you have families that have been coming out there for decades, and then all of a sudden they're jumped up on their feet, and now they're looking for somewhere else to have a family reunion.
yeah,
To me, if there's a way we can grandfather those in, the ones that have been coming for 50 years, if we could grandfather those in and have them pay the same that they've been paying.
What do you think about the fees in general as they're established right now?
We talked.
Yeah, I just, to me, I think it's, because one of the things that you do get from family reunions groups that comes out there are donations. And as the fees go higher, the donations come down. And of course, that also goes with service from what me and my wife do out there, what we do to help them, that helps, the donations come up. And I just, to me, I want everybody to come out there to be able to have fun, have a great experience, and to want to come back. And whenever you're jumping fees up like that, it just puts a bad taste in it.
Is it actually the fees or the deposit?
Well,
$100 a day, is that how it is? I think it's probably the deposits. It's a big issue.
yeah, the
You want us
deposits,
to speak now or wait?
the deposits would be, to me, I think deposits, but it's not necessarily fees. You know, and like with the Great Harbor help.
I think it's a great harbor. I've got some information on that to give you.
Okay. That's great.
You
It's
may
Blooming
have-
though, yeah.
You may have it already.
It's Blooming though.
And for, on the court, for the court and for the record, I've heard some real good comments about the court in the last few months.
It wasn't for my wife, for sure.
And I'm not gonna tell you this, but I have had some real positive comments about the court.
And we love it there, so. And our big thing is we want to promote, we want to make sure that that fort is there for another 50 years for family reunions to be able to come out there. I mean, think like with the Fish Manning thing that was there from, started in the 20s.
Yeah. I understand you're gonna give a program to another historical commission or something like that.
I gave one Saturday, I was supposed to go to Amarillo Friday, I didn't go to Amarillo Friday because I was sick. But anyway, I gave one Saturday, I had an organization come out, the Texas Old Mission, the Fort Restoration Association came out, and just for doing that presentation, they gave a sizable donation, and the donation that they gave us, you know, they were willing to sink some money into restoration programs. They went to Fort Richardson, and of course, if you've been to Fort Richardson, you know how they've got the funds that are a whole lot more, they're able to take care of things a lot more because they've got a bigger staff, they've got the state funding and all that stuff. And here, it's private groups to donate.
I think comparing apples and oranges.
Yeah, yes. And, you know, I don't want to compete, but I do think that we have, Fort Belknap is a lot more significant historically than Fort Richardson or Fort Irving. So, I really, to me, having those little groups come out, Daughters of Public Texas is coming tomorrow and doing a presentation for them. So, yes.
So what did you think about, we were talking earlier too, what did you think about overnight stays?
I don't have a problem with overnight stay. We had the Boy Scouts come out there, and it was, my wife and I stayed up till about 11 o'clock watching the Boy Scouts have flashlight wars out there. And to me, they're having fun, and that is just, they like to clean, you know, and as long as it's that way, I don't have a problem with that. I mean, they didn't tear anything up, very, very respectful, and
Where did they camp? Where?
they stayed in Barracks B. They slept in Barracks B. They built a fire there and slept in there. And, you know, they have their lights out at 9 o'clock or something like that. But then, you know, the adults go out with them and they have flashlight wars. And it's hard to contain my kids when other kids are out there coming out and having fun. So, I don't have a problem with overnight stay. I would, to me, it'd be better because you have family reunions that go from Friday to Sunday, and just to have your whole family out there when you have people driving in from long distance. And
I want to continue to encourage this court to take a serious look at the county hotel and motel tax as a way to subsidize renovation and restoration projects at Fort Belknap. It's available to us. We've I'll check with Jennifer Conway, the CDD,
There might be some availability there.
so I think that's something we seriously need to get
Her thing was if we could prove that people are coming to Fort Bell and staying here at hotels, and that would be further funding. So, I hope that's something that we can get into, if not, we can maintain the love out there. It's been a sham in this region.
Once again, understand that money is for projects, and
Yes.
not for maintenance.
Yes, yes. And I have, there's lots of.
And the more we restore, the more maintenance there is.
Yes, yes. Yes, I understand.
But that would be, could be as much as upwards to $40,000 a year that we put into that for.
And there's, there's a lot of updated things.
That our visitors would be having to spend.
Yes, yes.
Great part of getting done.
Mary Beth,
Well, our main
You want-
concern was,
come on up here.
You can't have
let me do it.
She thinks she talked better than
I know, she's on fire. Slow it down.
No, I wasn't trying to, I just didn't know if that was a question you were asking in general or
Well,
just asking.
and I know if they want to say something after me, but first, we would just like to
This
say,
is one thing,
okay,
here, before we get started, this is one family that's been coming to Fort Bell for a long time. I don't know how long,
over 50 years.
50 years.
I'm 49, and that's where I've always had my
You never known
family,
it
always.
For the record, if you will, state your name.
My name is Kim Babcock. What we would like to say first is, we do thank you for your time, and I want to say that I think you really listened to us last time, because my sister and my mother did go meet yesterday out there, we're going to talk with them, and I think you listened that what we said is we wanted somebody with a heart of hospitality, which I don't think has been done in a long time, and I know that it's been hard to find the right person as caretakers. It's not their normal job, and it takes special people to have a passion for that, and it does seem that definitely that he does and his wife does. I mean, the grounds look better than we've seen them in 20 years, for one thing. And just the things that he's talked about doing is, hasn't been done in a long time. I think he's correct, and even with the motel takes it, you're correct. There's so much more we can do. When we, as kids, walk the wall, our whole life, and then you have, that's what we want our kids to do, and that's what they love. Not just that, but everything about it, the flashlight wars, just that you're contained in some little place, and everyone's on their iPad or iPhone, they're actually communicating with each other, having fun. That's hard to find a place to do that. We love it being here. I will tell you, most of our family members are, probably over 60 and on fixed incomes. So they were in complete shock about this. And I don't know if the rest of you realize, but I know that Judge Bullock does, because Mother ain't paid him. Our deposit this year was $750. And we had to do it without meeting with them because it jumped up in the middle. So they're going to pass out when we give this to them and they paid that.
Is there any reason to think you won't get it back?
No, not necessarily. We did, but I mean, just the way, like we talked about before, I think this was written, it's very confusing still. The deposits are a problem for us, and another thing is, the $60 was too low. I'm fine with it going up, but we're not fine with it going up $300 to $400 a day. Now, I understand something $100 a day, maybe even possibly $200. We always give a big donation, like we talked about before, and that's the other thing too. It will extend to them. We have a ton of family members. We've taken refrigerators, we've taken trash barrels, we've taken microwaves, we've given donations, and we will continue to do that. That's something that we plan on stopping, and if they need help in the middle of the year, we'll gladly go out there. It's just hard to present to a big group that this is how much we're going to pay. We can get, what he said is true, we can get more of a donation than we can say they're requiring that this is $400 a day. Because if you look at, it's $750, and I think if we look at it, we'll get $300 of that back maybe? Is that how it was, if there was?
So just
Although
to
it's
clarify,
time you separate the rentals out of your.
Right.
yeah, so just to clarify, when you said, it's $100 a day, it's not, because, you have to pay for the
the
building,
barracks are
and then the
100
harbor,
each.
and different
The
things.
kitchen's 50 each, so we're still looking at considerable per day, because we rent the whole thing.
We used to pay 60 total, and I think now, I wanna say it's
Yeah.
250.
Reservation fee's $250. That's not deposit, and then then it's itemized.
For our record, would you please state your name?
Sorry, Melanie Winiger, and just to clarify, we're the Bowling Camper Union that is out there. So the fee per year without the deposits, we get all of our deposit back, that's still $300 is what we're paying, where we used to pay 60 total for the weekend. So again, that's more than a 50% jump So to go to our people and say, with no warning and no information, we've more than doubled our fees. And so that I think is a big jump.
Right, that's one of our biggest concerns. And then our other concern was, Bob, when we were out there last year, we did say that we met two groups that just came in. And so we were busy with them and stuff, and so they went to one of the buildings with us and stuff. Well, then the caretakers thought they were part of our group. And they said something to us about how they did something, and she's like, that's your family. And I was like, that's not our family. We just met them. They were sitting out here just coming in. So our part is like, even if we walk through with him at the end, and there's a big hole in the grape arbor, how do we say we did that? There's still guests coming in that weekend. Now, most of you do know us, and if we think our family did it, we're going to be responsible for it. I mean, some of our kids one time tore down the basketball goal. We're going to put up a new one. That's what we're going to do.
It's gonna happen.
But at the same time, we did, because, we're just a little reserved to say, okay, it's just going to depend on this. And we take our own toilet paper, we take our own paper towels, so we're going to.
But we don't wanna just tell our people, there's a $450 deposit, don't worry, we'll get it back, and somebody else
So
comes
it happens,
in
and we
and starts to argue, and we don't get $450 deposit back, that's a huge
Of course, that's
difference.
gonna be,
It is, and I
Yeah, hard part of
understand
your
that,
job.
and I know it's new, and we're not asking that you shut it down on other people there, but I do know.
Well,
it's
the best
hard.
thing there would be if there was damage done by a party other than yours while you were there to report it to Jim's as this.
If we know.
We would if we saw it, but we're not, we
Well,
primarily
you
stay in
can
our
tell them
area.
yourself if you did it.
Right,
Yeah.
Right, and that's our thing is, it's not just us, we have to go report back to, hundreds of people.
Well, is there any way to keep records of who's over years has been there? I mean, but this one.
There is with the receipts that we give whenever we bring the reservation fees and stuff, we've got it going back, and I've got it on hand in the house there, going back to probably 2010.
Yeah.
So I've got the last 5 years on there.
Yeah.
And I don't know if they keep files here past that, but
And I don't know what year the county bought.
Could we excuse the deposits for any group that had rented the place 3 of the past 5 years? Could we just excuse the deposits for that group?
I know that's common, like, we do a lot with Mo Ranch and some other places, and after you've been there
Utility
20
companies
years,
used to do that too.
you're considered legendary, and then you don't have to do certain things, or you have a different deposit schedule or something, because they know they already know you, and they trust you, and they've worked with you for so many years.
I know where to find it.
Right.
well,
it's
and one of the
fee
things.
schedule. I don't believe that, I don't think that I supported that fee schedule because I thought it was too high and it was,
I'll be honest with you, when we went to pay, it took about 30 minutes for anybody to decide what we owed. And because it was so confusing, people couldn't figure out how to read it.
Nevertheless, it,
Wasn't
It's
this,
actually
wasn't this,
forward.
the few that, wasn't this all done with the meeting you had with the Perez's?
No, they
Did all these
can't.
numbers come from?
This number came from the press, it's myself and Judge Bullock.
yeah, this fees came from them, that's what they said.
Basically, it needs to be written.
And they didn't set them, they brought them to the court for us.
Yeah.
That's what they're.
Then I think it might need to have some
So
more
that was their
explanation to it.
recommendation, so y'all didn't add anything to that?
We, like, what anything to do.
And the reason we came up here the first time is, you received this in the mail, didn't you, from them? They just had our address and said, this is how this is gonna be. And then, of course, it's not in concurrence with our reunion, and so we're acting on behalf of people without even having their own pay to spend this chunk of money we have.
And we're asking
$750.
About 180 other people.
Well, it's certainly no secret that government doesn't always do things right. So I appreciate you lending your voice to this so we can.
When is y'all?
We're Memorial Day weekend every year.
Let me make a suggestion. Mary Beth, you want to say something?
Well, the other thing I had
You
concerns
state
about
your
was
name too, please.
Mary Beth May,
Okay, Mary Beth, May.
was the RV parking. Because we do, like I said, we get the overnight people.
Yeah.
I mean,
And we take tents, I mean.
And so we have tent
We put
campers
like
and we
20
have
kids in a tent.
RVs that come. So we want to clarify if that's going to be an option.
Well, that
if we need to pay deposits, that's
We're
what you
talking about
decide.
fees.
Just-
Yeah.
It's just, we thought they were a little high.
What I'd suggest is that Matt, Jim, and maybe our financial department get together, talk about that. Jim's got a fair amount of experience with these kinds of facilities and their costs and what their fees and things are, so Jim and Amber can get with Matt, some of our financial department, come up with some recommendations that are realistic. I think these are a little high myself, but.
I visited with him yesterday, him and his wife, and they were very nice. Like I told you, the grounds look better than I've seen them in years. The building was as clean as I've ever seen it. I mean, I wish they'd come to my house. Wash my windows like they did this place. It looked great. It all looked great. And they were so nice to us. I felt really good when I went there.
I would encourage I don't know if there's a poll you can do as people come out throughout the whole year, or maybe next year, to look at, if there is money you can put in. We play softball tournament every year. Last year we weren't able to do that because the field wasn't, there was brush on it, and we couldn't do that. He had talked about maybe wanting to do some things to the volleyball net and the courts. I will say, because we are getting some push, as the younger generation comes up, that, they can go to an RV park where there's swimming pools and there's huge tennis courts and lots of other activities and stuff. We want to keep our, we've, like you said, we've been doing this, my mom's been going for 65 years or so to read it. And we would like to.
That's all right. They started it the year I was born.
Okay.
I'm 60, I'll be 69 years old.
And so, we want, that's a huge tradition for us. We want our kids to continue the tradition, but, they need activities and stuff to keep them bored, and we don't want to have to move to somewhere else. We have to compare it in other places when the fees and stuff we looked at. For these kind of fees, we could go to somewhere with a lot more options to us.
Just understand that at the time the fees were set,
Oh, I
the
understand.
concern is not for how much money can we get out of people's pockets, but what can we do for the sport with the money we get.
Absolutely.
Okay?
And we're all
So-
for that.
Okay.
I know.
But I can see, matter of fact, I can see reducing the deposits for groups who come often and regularly as encouragement to get more groups that come more often and regularly. So
Yeah.
why going for this year, can we go back to Fort Bell now, and the deposits are being way.
I didn't understand why the deposit for the harbor was higher than for the building.
The arbor is the most fragile thing
Well, that's
probably at
probably
Fort Bell now. It's the one thing we really need to be spending money on, no other thing to spend on. Get one, what do you think? In your opinion, what would you think would be fair?
No pressure, not on the spot or anything.
But you know that you studied the problem.
I'm just here for support.
So you hire a politician.
Smart business.
This may just get you a 3-minute. Yeah, no, commercial, pat on the back.
I would like to sit down and look, because 60 is too low, it really is. And with 750, one of the issues is when you rent, 2 or 3 buildings, it significantly goes up, so if we can do like a whole.
More they rent, the lower the prices go.
Yeah, something.
Graduate.
Yeah, something like that.
Or like an all-inclusive package.
Yeah, something.
And that's what we're asking for. We're asking for some consideration because we do have to go back to them when we have this next one and say, this is, we just signed it this year, get the bullet because we didn't have time, and we want the people also at the reunion to be able to make a choice. So we just need information to go with them. And like what Melanie said is true. I mean, we do want to keep it here, but we are looking forward to working with him because, we have kids and they're starting to want to go someplace else. And we're trying to explain to them they have to honor who people have been coming. So we would like to bump up some stuff and help out with that just because, we want to keep it there if we can.
I would request if there's any way possible to know what the fee schedule is going to be by Memorial Day weekend, because we have to go to our people and make a vote for next year and decide, are we going somewhere else or are we staying here? And obviously we would like to do that when everybody's present, because there's people, there's a lot of people we only see once a year at the reunion. And so, there's people come from Arkansas, Ohio, different places. We want to be able to talk to everybody while we're together and get a vote this year. So if we don't know the fees for next year, that's going to be hard for us to do.
We can get these folks together and get a recommendation.
That's what I was gonna say.
That'd be
But
great.
how does it stand right now? You say we can use the RV spots this Memorial.
Do we need to know this year if people can spend the night or not?
Because they do every year.
I'm okay.
Okay.
I'm okay with that, but
There.
them,
Right.
that's.
Let me and Jim talk tomorrow. I'll contact you.
Okay.
We'll find a meeting time, me and him will talk tomorrow, and by in 2 weeks, we'll have this resolved.
Okay, I think that's one of our big issues. We have people,
Bring an RV.
we're trying to tell them, are you going to be able to spend the night or not? They have to make a decision.
Well, I'll say we have it resolved. Me and him will present the court with what we
Okay.
want.
Yeah.
That would be awesome. That'd be great.
So I'm saying,
Sound like we're
you said 2 weeks.
We have it on the next agenda.
When is that?
27.
Of April? Yes. Okay, great. I appreciate
Very
it.
good. Thank you for that, Dean. Thank
Thank you.
Thank you.
you. Thank you.
In the couple.
That group never lasts for months.
No, we don't. So,
They come back and work.
for the record, we didn't do that.
I'm moving to table this item for 2 weeks.
At which time you'll report back.
All in favor?
Okay, sure.
Okay, we'll be back to review this on the 27th.
You need to survive.
Okay, back to, you got a lot of time, Brad?
Whatever you want, don't matter.
Remember you asked me when to get to this?
Yeah, remember that. Should be pretty quick.
Well, let's go, if, court's approval, we'll move to supplemental agenda. And that's, instead of property disposition, the proposed transfer to GISD for Full-Way, 4-H Animal Project Center. Yeah, Brad Morrison up here, I think he wants to make some comments about this.
Sure. How up to date are y'all on what's going on, what has been requested as far as projects and?
Tell me how the project fits together. Who's supplying the rock? Where the money coming from?
I think I've sent them the latest things that I've,
It is, northeast, back there behind that metal building, storage building, actually, the arena. It's where the new
It
project
goes all the way down to the oil field yard
is.
down,
All the way down
and then back all the way across over to Carroll Street?
there.
Not that far.
Not that far, just up to that berm, that big berm that's built. So, bottom line, GISD, Green Industrial Association came and said they would like to have the property that the current project center is on, about 7 acres. It's been there for about 30 years. It's pretty, served its purpose, done a great job. It was given to, 4-H and FFA members in Young County and developed by the Lions Club. So, GI Industrial Association would like to have that piece of property, would like to, and they're gonna sell it, and the proceeds from that are gonna go towards the, development of a new 4-H and FFA project center. That is hoped to be online by this coming September. So,
The issue of the thing is the GISD can't put any money into a project or into a project that they don't own or a piece of property that they don't own.
exactly.
I guess that's state rule or state law or something.
And my sole issue on this, and it's not an issue, is, this is a joint 4-H FFA center. And the school's gonna be taking over and owning it. With y'all giving them the property, we want to be sure and be designated that it's, for its entire future, that it still be an FFA 4-H center, not just become a school center.
I was suggesting that we put that in a deed.
Right.
If this happens sometime, so I don't know that.
So that's the key. I just want to be sure and protect both sides because fortunately FFA get along extremely well in Young County, always have. And don't see any change in that, but 15 years from now, we got a whole new set of people up there, they could forget the 4-H.
Is that doing any engineering on this at all?
And the city's going to take care of all that.
From a precinct 1 viewpoint, there's going to be water drainage problems here. Tremendous water drainage problems. There's no drainage here. Rubble.
Yeah.
I wish they would show me how. This intersection here goes underwater because this water doesn't drain down either one of these streets. This water cannot be made to go this way without cutting the ditches a lot deeper than they are.
This is that waterway that got off the edge of that hill, that's what this is right there.
If you empty water out this road, it's just as likely to go this way as it is this way.
Okay, that's good.
So there's going to be more money than I got in my budget to fix that road. It can be fixed. It can be done. Roadway might be done.
School's gonna put 100,000 in, they think the property sale will be worth about 100,000. Neil Plant said he could come up with the other $50,000 toward,
I guess it's gonna cost that much to build that property.
$250,000 is what we went and looked at facilities in Jacksboro. There will be approximately 60 enclosed individual heating pens, no heating required.
You got a plan design on it already?
We've looked at some, we haven't got anything on paper, we've got what Jacksboro had, we're very happy with that. So
it's gonna be designed where you won't use a whole lot of electricity.
right.
That's what I was wondering, Brad, too, you know, we've been paying the electric bill, are we gonna pay the electric bill on the new one?
Right. Hope so.
That's,
Excuse me.
But
I would hope so.
Good job.
Why change that?
Still pay your tax dollars.
the school has been picking up the trash removal and water bill, and all the covering electricity. But it should be a much more efficient place.
Yeah, well, the school's going on it, and for all practical purposes, that even if deed restriction was put on there that 4-H had legal access to it. There's nobody that I don't think there's anybody in Newcastle 4-H gonna put anything in there, or maybe, probably not licensed 4-H, probably not only 4-H. Everybody that's going, every 4-H member that has projects out there, and that'd probably be a student of GISD, at least 99%.
We do charge those kids $10 per head per animal for the feeding period to be put in the account for maintenance and things like that. It's got $3,000-4,000.
Is it gonna have a little meeting?
It's not going to have a meeting room, no, but it will have kind of a practice arena. It will have restroom facilities. That was a requirement for anything from the school. So we have more tracks and
Can it be designed and take the place of the old leg barn out there? Or we can get rid of it?
there's not anywhere near that kind of space out there because we're going from 4 or 5 acres. We're going from 7 acres down to about 4 acres.
Project Center sets on how many acres though now, maybe 2?
Maybe 2. That's actually right. But again, my main thing is it needs to be 50/50 4-H FFA, not get away.
But ingress and egress is gonna be off that Craig Street?
I don't know if you can make it 50/50, you just make it have legal access.
Well, it is 50/50. That's what it currently is.
Is that the way it's set up?
I mean, we share that, but if they have more kids need them, or I have more, we agree to do the need, but I know how stuff can get over time. So, we'd like it to be 50.
Yeah, I think that'd be the,
Like I said, we're more than willing to share.
well, they're big wise to make that as a part of the deed. They would agree to it.
And ag teachers are on board with all this. There's no controversy at all. It's just, we need it on paper.
So we're just asking for relinquish the county's ownership of that over the school?
What, we would terminate the lease on that acreage, and that'd be by mutual agreement. That's on a 99-year lease. We terminate the lease on that portion, then we'd turn around and issue a warranty deed to the school, to the ISD, to start the project.
And I move that we do that.
Okay, for the record, I kind of roughly added up, and it looks like Young County owns 38.43 acres. And the junior livestock show board still owns 22.5 acres, but it almost entirely on that hillside, that brushy hillside. And, Graham, I thought it was more than that, but it looked like, as far as well, that was on this map. They owned a good bit back down here that was, didn't have any acreage, but on this map, they owned 1.68 acres. Yeah, actually. No, the city of Graham, and that's this barn right here where that shop sits, right there.
With the heat color, but
Yeah.
I noticed I was out there the other day looking,
States, it's all been surveyed, this is all been surveyed.
Okay.
Anyway, I did copy that.
Leave my hand.
Got a big copy.
Somebody got a copy of it. Make one.
Who did that? Report.
Lawson, this is.
Will they do some planning on top? That's
You can set it up in Northeast.
Yeah.
Guess it out of this, expert on here,
It's kind of,
Which knows that they're wet.
Probably.
everything's crazy.
Then Garzowski can get a copy of that.
Yeah, you're right.
There's other bleachers.
You're right.
That's what it said, Northeast.
okay, so that's, yes, you can.
But I don't think can you copy this?
It can't be copied, but what she can do is draw it in on the overlay on the layer. It takes her a little while. Make it
Well, if there's a copy available with the Southern Beach or whatever, I
Yeah.
think that'd be good. She's gonna be pretty low money, you know. About concrete and stuff.
It's all gonna be covered.
Right, Southern bleachers would be the way to go on that.
Oh, sure,
It's all concrete.
Well,
We link up to 16.
That's what.
And foam insulation spray,
Makes the marks look stroke, but I see what we're doing.
high pressure water.
So your water will be designed where it's going through the chase in between the pins, or you can get access to it.
Gonna have you here, the mowers, gonna be moved forward.
Yes, sir.
On the transfer to guys, what did that say, 5 points?
I think that's two
Yeah, that's what it
totally
said.
different. There's some tracking projects.
No, it might be in the city, right on here. 5.61 acres.
These are just strictly livestock type, hanging, not involved in shooting hares.
They can shoot out there.
The exercise.
It calls for 5.61 acres.
22 long buildings.
That's what the restriction on it. Giving, 4 acres.
It's gonna be totally closed.
Well, I can access the facility. They can go out there, they can't shoot it over.
Brad,
Yeah, it's,
what are they gonna do with the old building?
they're gonna tear all that down and
Who owns that land, the
the
city?
city owns that property.
Okay, and so whenever y'all get this out, we just cancel the electricity out there?
This is city that doesn't, so they have heated water out there.
I gotta get out to the
So we're gonna be.
old ag barn.
Like they can see about who's in charge of the archery out there?
I do it all the minute. I do it all the
Our
minute.
forest leaders are in charge.
Have you seen the, have you seen the holes at the end of the,
Yes, they, I've seen,
why did they allow that out?
cause 10-year-olds are bad shots.
There's no way to put a tarp over the.
Over the.
They shoot one big barn?
Oh, God, well, you ever see it? Looks like a
Swiss cheese.
yeah, it looks like a
I tell you
Swiss
what,
cheese.
some of that, happened 22s way back.
It did, and I went on the outside and I could see the 22s. The new air holes are plentiful.
Yes. Yeah, we just need better
Shot,
shots.
shot with, or a different place to have to shoot archery. At least open the door.
There is.
It's a little kid out there.
Kid on the baseball.
Outside. Motion C, does anybody want to second that? Riley?
What would you, there used to be some doors down there that would cover that up with doors.
They're big wooden panels down there, right?
I used to shoot down there when I was a kid. I never did go through the wall. And we had trapped, You missed a good time, because it looks like somebody didn't.
Somebody like to throw food ball there a while back.
Yeah, there's donuts on the.
But you gotta remember is, we didn't have baseball like we do now. Baseball wasn't going on at that time. But shooting in the archery was something to do.
There wasn't baseball, there wasn't soccer.
But we didn't have archery back then. All we had,
Open area.
Volleyball, football,
I think that's,
bowling, skate.
That's all I've got. Anything else? Thank y'all.
Okay, we've got a motion by Commissioner Sykes, a second by Commissioner Wiley, to move forward with the transfer of 5.61 acres as requested to the Graham Independent School District for the purpose of an animal project center with deed restriction on there applicable to people access for Young County roads.
50/50.
50/50.
Thank y'all very much.
All in favor?
Thank you, Brad.
Carry. Very good. Good one. Item number 14, we'll back up this, got a road crossing permit from Baker Water Supply Corporation, this Willard Road, this Mr. Stacy Rogers here, Bill Singham.
New residents come to town, setting up shop. The water is on the other side of the road, so they're able to bore under Willard Road, have access to water.
It's a board.
And it's a bore, it's a little blacktop road is what it is, so they're gonna bore under it. No problem in their part, but I don't see any reason to deny it, so I'll make the motion to accept the water crossing permit
I'll second that.
on Willard Road.
All thing we need to do is make sure on the original contract that you get marked on there whether it's board or got.
It'll be board on,
Yeah.
Bore on. The checks in the
I did the same.
office already, so we've got the paperwork in the check.
okay, we've got a motion by Commissioner Rogers, a second by Mr. Wiley, to approve application permit for bore only to Baker Water Supply, boring underneath Willard Road. All in favor? Carried. Item number 15, consider advertising for bids for various road maintenance applications. This is in precinct 3. Please.
Yeah, those 15A and B has to do with my Seathirst project, going out back for bids. Really didn't have a good selection last year, so it's basically the same mile as on the Seathirst project. The 15C is my regular maintenance I've been doing. It's a single course. It just comes out of my budget, road budget. So it's actually 3 different bids. But the top 2 is for my Seathirst project. And,
They'll actually be 3 separate bids, what we understood. Okay.
we've already got the paperwork drawn up. We're just waiting to get it passed through the court. Motion go up bids. Second. And we got some dates already set here. May the 8th, need to be in Cheryl's office, the auditor's office, May the 8th at 4 p.m. And we'll open bids Monday, May 11th at 10. And 15C, we set it at 10:10 p.m. Same parameters on deadlines. It's just a regular monthly meeting made on that.
Okay. Got a motion by Commissioner Rogers, a second by Commissioner Shives, is that right? Advertise to request bids for the reclamation of 1.9 miles. That's bid number 1 for a 2-course chip seal 1.9 miles, that's bid number 2. And for a single course chip seal, that was a double course, 2 course chip seal. Single course chip seal for approximately 3 miles, and that will be bid number 3. Those to be in by the end of the day on the 5th and the 8th. Is that Friday? Friday the 8th, May the 8th.
Yes, by 4 o'clock.
And to be opened then on the following Monday, May the 11th, 10 a.m. and 10 a.m. respectively. All in favor? Carried. Okay, item number 16, I think this is something that we ought to take. Don't have, Joe Brown's working on proposing contract, working on writing that up. Proposing. This actually has to do with mobile phone Texas, which we don't have the specifics on that yet. I mean, we have them for a specific tower height, things like that, but they'll change if we enter into an agreement on this one. So I suspect we'll table that and we'll do something.
Did Joe put a figure out, the number?
He hadn't put a number out yet. Late last week, I think Thursday and Friday, we communicated both. He was left drawing up a proposal to give to us. After that again.
He motioned to table.
Second. Or you're. I'll let you, Dave, let Jenny have it on that. Okay, we've got a motion by Mr. Wilder, second by Mr. Pruitt to table item number 16 for action on the 27th, or for consideration on the 27th. Hopefully by that time we'll have all necessary information. Dealt with 17, 18.
Thank you all.
We take a vote. Oh, we didn't. All in favor? Aye.
Thank you all for agreeing.
No action.
No action.
Okay, I guess we're ready to have an adjournment.
Move.
A motion by Mr. Wiley, second by Mr. Pruitt, to adjourn this meeting on the budget. Carries.